Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. That's right, you see it, it's Mage Night. It is time for us to take this on. I'm excited to show you a playthrough of Mage Night. I've been working closely with Colin over at the One Stop Co-op Shop, and we've kind of been playing and talking about Mage Night so much that I thought it'd be time to get this onto the table. This is regarded as one of the greatest solo experiences out there in the co-op and solo market. I'm excited to bring this game to you and excited to show you what it's all about. There are tons of great videos out there. Not only has Colin over the One Stop Co-op Shop done some fantastic videos, but Ricky Royal and Liz Davidson have also done fantastic videos of not only the game, but also being able to set this game up. Please go check those out. I'm going to put a link to all three of those channels in the description below. We're not going to do an in-depth setup, but I am still going to show you some of the setup that goes along with Mage Night. I'm super excited to bring this to you. I've had this game for a long time, and I've really been waiting to put this on my channel. Now is the time. This is going to be super fun. We're going to be doing a solo conquest, and we're going to see if we can take this game on and beat it. And if you're excited to see if we can, then I need you to meet me at the table. Here's the mage we're going to be playing. We have his hero card ready to go, along with also his pile of level tokens and his command token as well. We're going to remove this one and place it out here. This signifies how many different units we can have. For every one of these we can have a unit. If we ever have more units than this, we have to discard them or disband them. We start at level 1 and 2. We have 2 armor, and we're able to have a hand size of 5. This is our deck of cards right here. We have our pile of skill tokens as well. And here is our mage. He's all set here. He's got a book. This guy is really cool with spells and stuff, so I'm excited to play this guy. He's really awesome. Now we have his deck of cards, and I wanted to just show you this really quick. If you're looking to figure out what cards you're supposed to take for what mage, it all has to do with the symbols up here. So this symbol right here represents his character. It has it also on these, along with all the different shield tokens he has as well, which we're going to place out on the board to signify that we have taken the certain areas. The other thing we need for him is his skill description card. That will tell us what all of these tokens actually represent. That's our mage. He's all set to go. We're going to be taking on Norwis. He's going to be our mage we're going to take on, and we have his deck, very similar to the last one you saw, and he also has his tokens as well. He's going to be kind of a dummy player, and as we go, we're just discarding cards, and it basically represents the timer in this game. We have to try to get to and defeat 2 cities before we run out of time, which means we have 3 day and night cycles to do it, and once he runs out of cards, if we're still wanting to play, we're going to run out of time during that day or night, depending on what it is. So he is going to keep us in check. He's going to gain 2 white crystals and a green crystal as seen down here on his player board, and any of those cards are the final card we discard. We're going to be accelerating his turn by discarding other cards, meaning he'll be done even faster. Next, we have our fame track and our reputation track. We put them both at 0. As we play through the game, we're going to gain fame, which is going to level us up, and we're also going to lose and gain reputation, which is going to help us out in certain aspects of the game, mainly when it comes to gaining units, which are found in this deck up here. These are the normal, and those are the advanced units. We have our artifacts right here. These are our skills, and these are our spells. We're going to take 3 skills, and we're going to take 3 spells and put them out. Our first 3 skills are Maximal Effect. When you play this, throw away another action card from your hand. Use the basic effect of that card 3 times. That's really good. Or in this game of Mage Night, you're able to power these up if you can pay the crystal cost. For example, this one is red. If you have a red crystal or a red crystal token, you could power this spell up, which means it's going to get a more powerful effect. When you play this, throw away another action card from your hand. Use the stronger effect of that card 2 times for free. That's pretty good. We also have Shield Bash, which gives us a block 3. Counts twice against a attack with swiftness, and you'll see how all this works during the playthrough. If I spend a blue mana, I'm going to gain block 5, and it counts twice against an attack with swiftness. Blocked enemies get -1 armor for each point of block higher than needed, to a minimum of 1. So, for example, if we were to play this card, we had this one in our hand, we could throw it away and be able to play this 3 times from the top, or if we played the red mana, we'd be able to play this bottom part twice, which is pretty cool. We have Pure Magic. When you play this, pay a mana if you paid green, move 4 white influence 4, blue block 4, and red for attack. This is actually a pretty good card because it can tell you a little bit about how this works. There are 4 different types of things that you can move. You can gain influence, which is going to give you different units. You're going to be able to block an attack whenever you decide to actually attack something. So those are be able to help you in any of those aspects. Of course, if you use a blue mana, you can gain more in any of those things. We have our spells. Spells are different from the way these ability cards work. Spells we're going to pay mana for. So you're either going to pay a blue or you're going to pay blue and black mana. So a lot of times these are going to be better off being able to cast during the night phase. This one allows you to move 4. If the move cost of all terrain, including lakes, is 2, you cannot enter hills or mountains for the rest of the turn. And the Veil of Mist will be a more powerful thing. I'm not going to read all of these, but just be aware that we have some spells out here. We have Mana Bolt. This allows us to do a different type of attack depending on the different mana we pay after we pay the blue to play this card. And again, if we power it up, it's going to do the same thing, but in a more powerful fashion. We also have, the last one is Call to Arms. You may use the ability of one of your units in the unit's offer this turn as if it were one of your recruits. You cannot assign damage to the unit. And you'll see the units in just a second. So we'll put that one down there. We have our 3 spells and our 3 advanced cards. Let's go ahead and take a look at our units. We have 3 of them right here. Our first unit that we're going to be able to recruit if we decide to is going to be Shock Troopers. Up here it tells you how much influence you need to play in order to get it. This is the level of the type of recruit here. It's 2 for these Shock Troopers. It's a level 2. It has 3 armor, and it can be recruited at a, this is a castle. It can be recruited at a keep. Sorry, not a castle, a keep. And these are all the different abilities it's able to do. And you're going to use your token to indicate that you've used this and for whatever ability you decide to do. We're going to gain 3 of them. There's 1. All of these are going to be different. We have thugs. These are actually really different. These cost 5, and based on your reputation, he's going to cost less or more. And normally, when you go to recruit a unit, you would be 6, and if your reputation was higher, it would reduce the cost. Thugs are just the opposite. The lower you are on this track, the cheaper these units are. They get to block 3, attack 3 with reputation of -1, or influence 4 with reputation of -1, dropping your reputation. So when you decide to use them, you're going to choose which one you want, and that's the deal. These are the different places they can be recruited, and our last one is right here. It's going to be our Illusionists. Wow, there's 7. Check that out. They're really expensive. They have 2 armor, and they are resistant to physical damage, and you'll see how that works. They can do influence 5. You can pay a white mana to target unfortified enemies, and it does not count attack this combat. That's really good. Or you can just use them to gain white mana crystal to my inventory. Those are all the different cards that are out and ready to play. These are our tokens that we're going to be putting down on the map as we play. I'm super pumped. Let's go get the map set up. We have our starting tile here, which is against the coastline. We're making a wedge-like shape for our Conquest scenario. We have a total of 7 countryside tiles, all randomly chosen from our pile of tiles. We have 4 core tiles as well. 2 of these are cities and 2 of these are not. I don't know which is which. Your goal, of course, is to find 2 and defeat 2 cities. We'll put them in a stack like that. We're going to draw 2 to start our game. Our first one is right here. We have, what do we have here? We have a magical glade, a monastery, a rampaging enemy, and we have a mine. And the way we set these up is we have a number down here and a star as well. We're going to match this. The number is always going to be facing down, and so the star is going to match up like that. Let's see our next tile. Our next tile is going to have very similar to the same stuff almost. We have another rampaging enemy. We have a maze. We have a town, and then we have another glade here. We'll put that, nope, like this. There we go. Also, you're going to see there's different terrain on here, and you'll see how that affects our mage as he attempts to move through the wilderness here. He's going to start right there, and we're going to place our tokens down. We have our marauding orcs. I can't even say the name. Marauding orcs right here. These are going to be placed here, and when they're revealed, we're going to flip their token face up. And on this token, you see lots of things. We have a 3 armor, which also is fortified, which means you cannot attack it with range. You can defeat it with siege, but then, of course, you can attack it normally when you get into it, when you decide to fight it. It is a 3 attack, and you're going to gain 2 fame if you defeat it. Next, we have this one as well. Has 3 defense, 4 attack, and 2 fame if we're able to defeat that one. And in case you're wondering, these are actually called orc prowlers. Each of these have a name, and the other one are diggers. These are diggers, which makes sense as to why they're fortified. They've dug themselves in. Here are the terrain types I was just speaking about. They're found on this dual board. It's a night and day board. We're going to start on the day side, of course, because why not? You always start your traveling during the day, right? We're going to take, here's all the different costs of what it takes to move through each of those different tiles that you saw on the map just recently. We have 2 plains, 3 for the hills over here. Our forest takes 3 or 5 depending on if it's the night or the day. Same with our desert, it costs 5 during the day but 3 at night, so it's easier to move through them at the night. We have our wastelands and swamps at a 4 and 5, and you cannot move through lakes or mountains unless you have some kind of card or ability. It takes 2 to move into every city. Next, we're going to take our mana dice and we're going to give these a roll. You're going to gain 2 plus 1 for every player, so we get a total of 3 because we're playing the solo version, along with a lot of the other stuff you're seeing as well. Skill cards, spells, and units are also 2 plus the number of players, which we have 1, so that's why you've been seeing me draw 3 cards for a lot of the stuff. Let's roll these up and see what mana we get. That's a pretty funny roll. When you roll these, you have to at least have half the dice be regular colors, so you have to roll black and yellow until at least half the dice are regular mana colors. Let's roll them again. That's better. We've got a green and a blue. And the reason I rolled all 3 is because they were all gold and black. If I'd had a green and 2 yellow, I would have had to roll the 2 yellow until we had something similar to this, where we have a green, blue, and a yellow. This yellow is going to be wild during the day. It would be exhausted during the night. And similarly, if we had a night, it would be used during the night phase or it would be exhausted during the day. So that's actually a pretty good roll for us. Let's start our first turn. We'll draw up to our hand size here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 cards. Let's take a look at what we have. We have Crystal Joy. This is a card particular to this mage because you see his picture kind of in it. It's pretty awesome. He's allowed to pay a mana of any basic color to gain a crystal of that color to your inventory. At the end of your turn, you may discard another non-wound card to take this card back to your hand. Not too bad. And of course, I could pay a blue one to do something more powerful. We'll read that if that is what our plan is. This is Swiftness. It allows us to move 2, and we could pay a white mana, which we don't have right now, but of course we do have that yellow one if we wish to use it, to give ourselves a range attack of 3. Which would be pretty good at taking out the Orc Prowler. He's not too tough with that. We can then go ahead. We also have Tranquility here. We could heal 1 or draw a card, or power it up to heal 2 or draw 2 cards. We have a March, which allows us to move or move 4, 2 or 4, depending on how powerful we want to put this. Here's Threaten. We get 2 influence, or we could power it up with a red crystal to gain 5 influence and -1 reputation. Now that we've seen our hand, we have to choose a tactic for the day event. So here's our day cards right here. We could do Early Bird, which means we would go first, but we don't get any bonus for that. We have Mana Steal. When you take this tactic, take 1 mana die of the basic color from the source and put it on this card. You can use the mana at any time. This is pretty good for multiplayer, but it's not the greatest for solo player unless there's something that's making us roll dice when we don't want to. The right moment. 1 time during the day, during your turn, you can announce that you will take another turn immediately after this. Flip the card face down. That could be pretty good if the dummy player is starting to go faster than you and you want to get some stuff done before the day ends. This one is when you take this tactic, immediately draw 2 cards. That's pretty good. We have Planning. At the end of each turn, you have at least 2 cards in your hand before you draw. Draw if your hand limit is, your draw as if your hand limit is +1 higher, so I'd get 6 instead of 5, which is pretty good. We have Rethink. When you take this tactic, discard up to 3 cards, including wounds, from your hand. Then draw that many cards, shuffle your discard pile back into your deed deck. That's pretty good, especially if you had a bunch of wounds in your hand. I've seen our hand. It's pretty good. I think we're going to take... Now, a lot of the times, the top cards taken at the beginning is either Great Start or Planning, because it really gives you a good card advantage at the beginning, or you, over time for this first round, you're able to get some good cards, because remember, your hand size is usually pretty low. We're going to start with Planning. I think is going to be our best bet. I'll set that right here. That means we're going to be going at a 4, which means our dummy player might go ahead of us, so we're going to shuffle this up, give it a good old truffle shuffle, and see what he takes as his tactic. Since he's the dummy player, we don't actually know what he's going to do. He's going to steal mana, that's just fine, but he is going before us, so let's take his turn before we do ours. This is one of the really cool things about Mage Knight, is to do a dummy player's turn. You just take the top 3 cards, 1, 2, 3, and discard them. 1, 2, 3, and based on this card, it's white. Oh, that's terrible. We are going to accelerate him based on the color, and he had white. We have 2 white crystals here. We're going to accelerate him 2 cards. That's it. You don't keep drawing based on this card. You just do it the 1 time. So he's already done 5 cards. He's really pushing us right now, and we haven't even started. Our dummy hand is really kind of pushing us, so we got to get going. I'm going to start by playing my March card. We're going to play this using our green mana die from the pool. We'll also play this sideways. Now the cool thing about Mage Knight is you can play any card you want sideways to give yourself either +1 move, block, attack, or influence, which is sweet. So I've gained a total of 5 movement. It cost me 2 to move here, and it cost me 3 to move into these hills. And you may notice some awesomely painted, cool looking 3D things. Thank you, Colin, for allowing me to use his 3D elements for this game. It's pretty cool. If you're interested in these 3D elements, I'll make sure to put a link in the description below as where he was able to pick those up. They're pretty cool looking. That's our 5 movement. We've ended here, and now let's see what we're going to do next. I could choose to attack this orc here if I wish to, but I don't. I can only use 1 mana die from the source each turn, so I can't go ahead and use other ones. So I have this white one as well, which I could attack these orcs if I could get in there and attack them with my swiftness card, but I can't play the bottom part here because I don't have that crystal, which is totally fine. So that's, I think, going to be the end of our turn, just moving into that mine, which is going to give us a blue crystal at some point soon. Moving to the end of our turn, I'll discard our 2 cards we used. We'll re-roll this mana die and see what we get. Oh, we got black. That's terrible. It means it is exhausted for the day unless I can figure out a way to get it unexhausted. Next, because of our crystal mines here, it says at the end of your turn on a mine, gain 1 mana crystal of the color of that mine produces to your inventory. That is producing blue mana, so we will take a cool looking 3D blue mana token here and place it in our pool. So we've gained some mana, which is pretty cool, which could activate that card if we wish to. We'll place our black mana die here. So now I have blue and yellow left in the pool. This one's pretty much exhausted. I'm not going to probably be able to get that one back this turn. Let's draw more cards. We have 3 here. My hand size is 5. But because of our planning, we have, at the end of each of your turns, if at least 2 cards are in your hand, I get to draw 1 more hand size higher. So I have a total of 6. So we've got a stamina, which is another move card, which is going to be perfect. We also have improvisation. Discard this card from your hand to gain either 3 move, influence, attack, or block. That's awesome. And I can power it up with a red crystal to make it 5 of any of those values. That gives me a total of 5 cards, but I get 1 more because of our tactic. Awesome tactic, which is influence, which I can either get a 2 or 4 influence, which could help us get some units because we're really close to a monastery. We'll move into our next turn. The dummy player starts first. He's going to discard 3 cards, red, blue. Come on, not a green or white. Yes, not a green or white. Perfect. I don't need him to run us again. This turn, we're going to take out that orc. Let's see what we can do. Our orc here has a total of 3 armor. He is in his fortification that he's dug up here. So we're going to start by moving into the range and siege attack phase. And we're not going to be able to do anything about that. I do have a ranged attack of 3, which is pretty cool, which is probably what I'm going to play. The problem is I can't do anything against it. You can only kill this guy with siege. I don't have that. So we'll move into the block phase. They're going to attack me for 3, so I have to block that 3 damage coming in. If I don't fully block this, the block is ineffective and I'm going to take damage. We have, of course, our improvisation card. I'm going to use this. I'm going to discard another card from your hand to gain block 3. We'll place that right here. And here's the card we are going to discard. I'm going to discard our Tranquility card. That card is going into the discard pile, but now we have block 3, so we have successfully blocked that 3 attack coming into us. Now it's our turn to try to hit him, which is pretty awesome. First, we have to go to the assigned damage phase. There isn't any because I blocked the whole thing. If I didn't, I would be taking wounds right now, which would be absolutely terrible. I'm not a big fan of taking wounds. We'll move into our actually attack phase now. And at this point, I am going to play my swiftness card. Now, just because he can't be attacked with ranged attacks because he's fortified, that's only during the ranged attack. After that, I can go ahead and hit him with this, whether or not it's a ranged attack or a regular attack. I'm going to pay my yellow mana die from the pool to gain a ranged attack of 3, which is going to do 3 damage. That's enough to take this character out. We're going to gain 2 fame, which is awesome, and that's going to be all we can do for this turn because we get 1 action and 1 move, but we can only do a move before you do an action. We're going to go up 2 fame, 1, 2. We haven't gotten to the next level yet, which is really sad. I was hoping we would. Since we defeated a rampaging enemy, we do gain 1 influence. Next, we'll roll up that mana die we used. We got 2 blue mana. That's pretty funny. Since we ended our turn next to our crystal mine, we're going to gain a blue crystal. You can only ever have 3 of any crystal, so we have 2, so it might not be worth staying there too much longer. We have 3 cards in hand, so that is more than 2, so we get a total of 6 cards now. We have another swiftness, which is good because I need to move. We have another move card. Now we're moving a lot, which is good. We do need to move. And we have a rage card, which allows us to attack 2 or 4 based on whether or not we use a red mana, or we can use as a block 2. We also have to discard the cards we used from our last turn. Our dummy player is going to go first. He's going to discard 1, 2, oh good, there's that white card, and 3 green. Oh no, green, we do have 1. We have to get rid of another card. Terrible. Moving into our turn, we're going to start by playing our move card here, which is going to give us 2 move, but I think we're going to use our die from the mana pool to make it 4. Then I'm going to power it up by using our rage card. I know this is really good for attacking, but I've got a plan. Got a plan. Hopefully it's pretty good. Now I'm going to warn you, I'm not very good at this game, so sometimes my plans aren't the greatest. Let's see how this goes. I'm going to move 5 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It costs 3 to move into these forested areas and 2 to move into the plains. We're now going to use our action to take out these marauding orcs. The first thing we're going to do is go into our range and siege step, and he has 3 attack here. What I'm going to do is use this card, Crystal Joy, to play a blue mana crystal from our pool. Playing that crystal allows us to gain a crystal of any basic color to your inventory. At the end of your turn, you may discard another card, including a wound, to take this card back into your hand. So we'll play this blue crystal on there to gain that effect. The crystal I want to take in is white. We're going to take this white crystal. This is going to be pretty awesome. Hopefully this works out exactly as I'm hoping. I'm sure it will. We have our swiftness card here. I will play the white crystal to activate my range 3 attack on this card. Our orc here, our orc prowlers only have a 3 defense, so that meets it. We have defeated these orcs, and we didn't even have to worry about them attacking it because it was attacking us because it was during the ranged attack step. We're going to gain our 2 fame. For defeating our rampaging enemy, we gain 2 fame, bringing us to our next level. I also get to gain 1 influence for defeating a rampaging enemy as well. I'm going to place him down here with our other guy. We're going to make a stack of guys. Let's see how well we can take out a bunch of people. We're going to level up. We're going to get a card and also a new skill. First, we're going to roll our mana die we used. We got a white. That's going to be awesome. We're going to return our 2 crystals to the bank, place our cards in the discard pile, and now we're going to take our level up. There are 3 advanced cards we can take according to our level up here. One thing to bear in mind is that the bottom card will be going into our dummy player's hand and will be disappearing. Also, it will affect potentially his ramp up of how many cards he discards. If he has a lot of crystals that are red, putting this into his hand might not be the best plan. But he doesn't have any red crystals, so I'm not too worried about it. On the flip side, these cards over here, he'll be gaining the crystal of whatever color the bottom spell is, and that spell will be discarded, and we'll be putting out new cards when it comes to the night phase. I'm going to take Pure Magic, mainly because it gives us multiple options of things to do. It does cost 2 mana basically to play this because it costs 1 up here, but it costs a blue and another color to get the 7s if I want them. The other option is I could do some blocking, or I could, when you play this, throw another action card from your hand and use the basic effect of the card 3 times. Now, the difference between this card and a lot of other cards is it says throw away another action card. That means you're removing it from the game. I don't know if I want to do that. I'm just going to take Pure Magic. We're going to place this on top of our deck. Next, we can choose a skill from the 2 skills that we're going to flip over here. This one right here is Flight. Once around, flip this to move to an adjacent space for free, or move 2 spaces for 2 move points. You must end the move in a safe space. The move does not provoke rampaging enemies, which is really good. One thing I didn't talk about is if you're actually adjacent to a rampaging enemy and move into a square still adjacent to it, it will actually automatically attack you. The other one we have is White Crystal Craft. Once around, flip this to gain 1 blue crystal to your inventory and then 1 white mana token. The difference between crystals and tokens is the crystals will last forever. They sit down here in your pool. The tokens are going to go away at the end of your turn. Oh, those are 2 tough choices. Movement, or we could get free crystals and tokens. Oh, crystals and tokens are so good. I love crystals and tokens, but sometimes moving is so good. Oh, it's so hard. I think we're going to take flight. Movement is always important. We have to find those cities. We're going to put this here. Now we also get to flip one of his tokens. This goes into a common pool that I have a chance of taking next time I level up if I want to. The card that he pulled, or I should say skill, is day sharpshooting. Once a turn, range attack 2 during the day or range attack 1 at night. So it's pretty good during the day, okay during the night. Range attack's pretty good overall. So that might be something we want to think about next turn. We'll place flight right here. It is now one of our new skills. Actually, I think I'm going to place them right down here. I'll put our skills in that place right there. Another thing I forgot to do was refresh our skills decks. We've got a new skill out here, Chivalry, attack 3 or attack 2, and reputation +1 for each enemy defeated by this attack. That sounds pretty good. Or you can power it up to make 6 and 4. That's fantastic. We'll put those right there. Next, we'll draw up our hand. We have 2. We get 4 more because I did keep 2 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see what we have. Well, we know what one of them is. We do have our Pure Magic. I'll put that right here. We got another Rage card. We have a Mana Draw. You can use 1 additional mana die from the source this turn. That's awesome. Normally you can only use 1. This time, if I play it, I could use both of those if I wish to. I also have the ability to take a mana die from the source and set it to its color, except gold. Gain 2 mana tokens of that color. Do not re-roll the die when returned to the source. That's actually really good too. I got a white die in the source. I could do that. We have a Determination, which gives attacker block 2 and a block 5 for blue. And there's our Rage card. We'll put those right there and move into our turn. But of course, first we have to start with the dummy player because he goes before us. We'll move into our dummy player's turn. 1. Oh, good. Get rid of those green cards. A blue card. Oh, no. Don't be a white or blue. Oh, good. It's a blue card. He doesn't have any blue mana. Totally fine. He's still got 1 card left. Now we'll start our turn, and we have started next to the Magical Glade. Imbued with magic. At the start of your turn on a Magic Glade during the day, you gain a gold mana token. If you start your turn on a Magical Glade during night, you gain a black mana token. Also, I didn't mention this, but if you end your turn on a Magical Glade, I could throw 1 wound card from your hand to the discard pile. Or discard pile away. I can just throw it away, which is a way of healing yourself. This is not the same as healing, and the effect cannot be combined with other healing effects. So it's just you're just able to throw 1 wound away. I didn't mention it because I don't have any wounds, but I do get a yellow mana, which is absolutely sweetness. This is pretty much a wild mana. I can use it for any color I want. I'm going to place it right there. We will start by moving. I'm going to use my skill. We're going to flip this to move to an adjacent tile, or I can move 2 spaces if I pay 2 movement points, and I have March. So we're going to use March to pay for the 2 movement points, be able to move 2 spaces. I'm going to move back over to this monastery over here so that maybe we can recruit a cool looking unit. Let's try to recruit somebody from that monastery. I'm going to play my Influence 2 card, which is going to give me 2 influence right here. It's called Promise. I get 2 influence. Play that one. Then we're also going to play this one. Our Pure Magic, I'm going to gain Influence 4 from it by using a white mana from the mana pool. That gives us a total of 6. Next, I'm going to use Determination played sideways to gain 7. Oh, I don't even need to gain 7. Because if we look at our reputation track, I get +1 for our influence. So I have a total of 6 right now. I'm going to recruit these illusionists. They can only be recruited at monasteries or at wizards' towers. We're going to take this as our unit and place it with our character. Unlike our tactics cards and our spell cards, this does not refresh except between the night and day phases. I'm going to place our awesome unit right here above this token. Whenever you use a unit, you're going to denote that by placing the token on top of it. Some of the things we can do with this unit is we could use it for Influence 4. We could pay a white mana to target unfortified enemy, does not attack this combat, which is absolutely gold at certain points. And you can gain a white crystal to your inventory just by using this character. That's absolutely awesome. Those are our 2 actions, our movement and our action. We're going to go ahead and roll this up. We got a white. We'll put that back in the pool. Next, we'll discard all of our cards that we used into the discard pile. Our token remains used. You can only use it once a round. Our dummy player will go next. He's just going to play that card. That's it. I forgot to draw our cards before we did his turn. I only have 2 left. I've got a Move 2 and Will Focus. Gain a blue, white, or red mana token, or gain a green crystal to your inventory. I could use a green one. When you play this, another action card with it gets the stronger effect of the card for free. If that effect gives you a move, influence, block, or any type of attack, it also gives +3. So that's really good. All right, we have these cards. Let's see what we can do. I'm going to use this card to do a move 2. That's one way you can check out what's part of the board. It takes 2 movement to scout out the next parts of these board, and it's a wedge shape, so it's going to go in this way. So we put 2 here, we could get 3 up here, 4 up here, and so forth and so on. Of course, our goal is to get to those core tiles and take down those 2 cities. We're going to take our tile, flip it over, and see what we get. Let's see, we'll kind of explore off in this direction. Let's see what we find. Well, we found what is this? We have a rampaging enemy, we have a wizard's tower, and a town. We're going to take our number here and face it down, and we're going to place, the rampaging enemy right next to us. Let's see what our token says. We have found a, what is this? Oh, it's an orc summoner. That guy means business, I'll tell you. The interesting thing about this orc summoner is he's going to be using a dungeon tile to show us what his attack is. I'm not even going to know what it is until I actually go in there. So maybe actually killing him from a distance might not be a bad idea. We also get to put down one of these cool looking mountains here, just like that. Oh, it looks so cool with these 3D things like this. We also have some of these cool looking mage towers, and I'm going to place it down here. It's not fully painted yet, but that's okay. It's got some purple. Purple's better than nothing. No, we like the Minnesota Vikings. We're going to put some purple guy here just like that. He's sitting just like that. We'll place one of our tokens right in here. Now, we don't get to reveal this right away unless you're adjacent to it during the day, or if you go ahead and attack it at night is the only way you'll know what that is. So our board is fully getting bigger and bigger. This is pretty cool. I love the way this expands. We've played our 2 movement. Let's see if there's any actions we want to do. Why not take out this orc shaman? I think that's our best bet. We're going to attack the orc shaman. Let's see what happens. To see what his attack, first we're going to go into the range and siege attack. I don't have any of that. So we'll move straight into just to see what he does to us. We're going to flip our token and see what attacks us. Oh, we got a 6. It's a Medusa. Oh, it's going to paralyze us. That's going to be terrible. This paralyze is bad. We want to block that for sure. I'm going to block it with this 5 here. I'm going to pay the blue crystal to block 5. That's going to be my plan. Or should I, I'll use the one from the token pool. Why not? We're going to use our die here to block 5. After we block 5, I do have to play one more card to block 6, because if you don't block it fully, it's not a block and it's ineffective. We have blocked the damage. This is done. Now we have to deal 4 damage to him. I'm going to play this card to gain a white, blue, or red mana token. I'm going to grab a red mana token at this rate and use it to play our rage card. We're going to play the token right on top of that rage card to gain 4 attack, which is enough to take out the orc summoner. He has only 4 up here. He is dead. And we've actually used every card we have. The only thing we have left is our illusionist, and I'm going to activate them to gain a white mana crystal to my inventory. That's going to be just fine. And then that's pretty about it. We again have taken out a rampaging enemy. Our influence goes up 1, and he is going to give us 4 fame, which is awesome. 1, 2, 3, 4. Check it out. We leveled up again. This is fantastic. We'll roll our mana die into the pool here. 2 white. That's kind of funny. We're going to gain our white mana token from our illusionist. And the monastery here, there's some things I forgot. I totally forgot about this part. It's called training. When a monastery is revealed, put the top card of the advanced action deck face up in the unit's offer. Advanced action in the unit's offer can be bought at any monastery for 6 influence. So we'll take the top card and take a look at it, and I'll put it in with the rest of the units. It's in need. Influence 3, get an additional influence 1 for each wound card in your hand or on units you control, or influence 5 and get an additional 2. I don't know if I'm ever going to buy that. I don't want things, I don't want to take wounds. That's going to go into our pool of cards with the rest of our units that we can buy anytime. Also, some other things we can do that I didn't talk about because it doesn't really pertain to us right now is you can buy 1 point of healing for every 2 influence. Also, if I want to, I could burn down the monastery, which is absolutely hilarious. I'm not going to do it. It says you can burn down a monastery for an action for this turn. If you do, you get -3 reputation. I've worked so hard to get it up, so that's not going to happen. I will draw a random violet enemy and fight it. I can't use my units, and if I defeat it, that means basically you've burned down the monastery, and I put a shield token on it, and I gain an artifact as the reward. The monastery is destroyed now, so I can't do anything else there. Whether you defeat the enemy or not, and it says discard it afterwards. Next time, a new token will be drawn. So this is going to be terrible. I'm not going to be burning down any monasteries. But we are going to return all of these crystals to the pool, or the bank, I'm sorry, we're going to discard all of these cards we used, every one of these to take out that Marauder, or that Orc. That was awesome. I'm out of cards, so that's going to be the end of our turn. I'm also going to discard this token. We don't have to deal with that anymore. That was just for that one summoner. And that's going to be the end of our first day. But of course, we get to level up. I have to do that too, which means we're just going to take this token, flip it up, and put it right there. We can now gain 2 units if we wish to as the day goes on here. I do also have a new set of skills here. Instead of being 2 in 5, I am now 3 in 5, so I'm able to actually soak up a little bit more damage than I was before. Of course, our hand size is still 5, which is still kind of sad. Before we move into the night phase, there's a few things I want to talk about. First off, this is not a maze. I don't know what I was thinking. That is an ancient ruins. So when this is revealed, if it's during the day, you get to put the tile face up. Here's our ancient ruins tile. We're just going to flip this over. It looks like we can pay 3 red mana to gain 7 fame. That's not too bad. I don't have 3 red mana though. And here's the card for it. This is why I can't believe I didn't put that down there. When revealed, place a yellow token here face up if it's day. Face down if it's night, after a face down token is revealed at the start of the next day round, or if someone else enters the space. While unconquered, you can enter the ancient ruins as an action for the turn. There will either be an altar there, or if you're going to fight enemies. Altar, you can pay 3 mana of a color, which is what we have, shown in the yellow token as tribute to the altar. If you do, mark the space with a shield token and gain the 7 fame. If there's enemies, you're going to draw the enemies depicted on the yellow token and fight them. Any undefeated enemies remain on the space and can be fought later. If you defeat the last enemy here, mark the space with the shield token and get the reward depicted on the yellow token. So we have the altar here. We have to pay 3 mana to gain 7 fame. Not sure if that's going to happen, but I did put the maze. I said it was a maze, and I put that token here, a miniature here. This is actually just an ancient ruins. Another thing I did is this is a mana token. This is not a mana. I shouldn't be able to ever keep this. This goes away at the end of the turn that I got from the glade. So I'm going to discard this, which I should have been able to use this probably for one of the crystals we used during the turn, but that's okay. I'm going to get rid of this. You can never really have those. Those are always going to be tokens. So let's go maybe find another glade and stand on it and get it back. Moving into the night phase, the first thing we do is flip our thing over, and we now have different movement values. Now it costs more, of course, to move through the forest and less to move through the desert. We'll roll up our mana pool again. We got 2 blacks. We only have 1 normal color, so we have to roll the 2 blacks again. We got a oh no, we got a white yellow one. It's exhausted. That's terrible. So we have a blue and a red. Next, we're going to put out new units. I'm also going to discard this card as well. We'll see what our 3 new units are, and then we'll see what our action card from the monastery is. We have some foresters allowing me to move 2 and block 3. There's some other text here. If we decide to get them, that's fantastic. They can be found at towns. We have some scouts. They give us siege 1. That's not too bad. They can move. Now this one's kind of cool because it's able to reveal a new tile at a distance of 2 spaces instead of 1, which is pretty cool. They can be found pretty much anywhere. And then we have savage monks, which look, I can get them at my monastery if I wish to. And I do have that second token that allows me to now have 2 units if I wish to. The monastery is in play and not in ruin, in fire and brimstone, so we're going to go ahead and put a card down that we can buy with some of our influence. Gain a crystal of your inventory of a basic color if you do not already own. I can pay blue or green to move 4 or heal 2 or draw 2 cards. For each set of 4 different color crystals in your inventory, move 2 or heal 1 or draw a card. So you can do multiple things with it. That's not too bad. This one, of course, you can only buy at that monastery. Next, we're going to reset our actions and our spells. But before we do that, we're going to take this spell and discard it. We'll put it at the bottom of our deck. And it is a white mana, meaning that our dummy player is going to gain a white crystal into his pool, meaning if I ever draw a white card as his 3rd card, look at this, 3 crystals, he's going to super accelerate. We'll move these down and put another one in place. Next, we will take this card and put it into his inventory or into his deck, move these down, and place another one out. We don't get rid of all of them like we do with our units. We just get to get some more cards out here that might be kind of cool. Look, we got Chilling Stare. Check this one out. Influence 3 or the chosen enemy attack loses all attack abilities, but not its color. Or for blue, I can influence 5 or choose an enemy does not attack this turn. That's pretty good. I'm a big fan of that one. But look at this. Oh man, I gotta get this spell. Fireball or Firestorm. I can range attack fire 5 or take a wound and siege fire attack 8. Now these black mana down here, this really, you can only play the bottom ones most of the time at night because that's when the black mana is available. Of course, there's other things on the board or skills that'll give you some black mana, but that spell is up there. We have our action deck and we also put out our new units. We'll move over to our play area. I'm going to discard our tactic that we used. We're not going to see that tactic anymore, and we're going to remove the dummy player's tactic. Those are day tactics. We'll be picking a new night tactic, but first we are unexhausting our units, which of course gives us our chance to get an illusionist, another action this coming round. We get to mix up our cards here. We also unexhaust our ability there as well. We're going to mix these up, give them a good old truffle shuffle here, and see, we get to draw our hand, which is really cool. You get to draw your hand before you actually pick your tactic, which is super cool. I'm going to put these down here, and I get a total of 5 cards, and I'm not next to anything that's going to give me more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like a city or a keep. Let's see what we got. We got swiftness, we got determination, march, another swiftness, and we have our pure magic card. Those are the 5 cards we have. Let's go ahead and pick our tactic. We're going to take our darkness deck, our dark cards here. These are the ones for the night phase. I can mana search once per turn. Before you use a mana from the source, you may reroll up to 2 mana dice in the source. When you're choosing dice to reroll, you must pick gold depleted dice first if there are any. This is actually a pretty good card, especially since there's gold in there right now. The long night, once time this night, you may your deed deck is empty. You may shuffle your discard pile and put 3 cards randomly back on top. That's kind of nice. Sparing power. This is a really cool one. It allows you to put, I'm just summarizing, it allows you to kind of put cards under here. And then when you discard or use this, you can get those cards. Next, we have Midnight Meditation. One time this night before any of your turns, you may shuffle up to 5 cards, including wounds, from your hand back into your deed. I don't have any wounds, and I think my cards are actually pretty good. We do have Preparation. When you take this tactic, search your deck for any 1 card and put it in your hand. So if there's something I really want at the start of this hand, that'd be the way to go. And of course, the 1 card doesn't give you anything. I think it's Mana Search. That's going to be our plan. Now, what's our dummy player going to do? I kind of want him to just take the 1 card. That would be kind of nice. Well, come on, let's see what you get. Something really nice. Take this one. We got 4. Midnight Meditation. All right. With my 3, I get to move first, or act first for this turn. We're going to move using our March card. We don't have a green mana here. I'm really hoping we get one because I have Mana Search. Once per turn, before you use the mana source, I can reroll up to 2 mana dice. I have to choose at least the yellow one. I'm going to choose the yellow and the blue. I have a white crystal and a blue crystal, so we'll hopefully get a green one here. We got white and we got yellow. That's no good. This is still exhausted, and now I have a red and white in the pool. I still have to use this card, so we're going to use it as a move 2. At this point, we're going to reveal our next tile right up here with our 2 movement. Let's see what it is. We have some pretty cool things. We still have another, we have another one of these. Wow, there's everywhere, these springs. We have another rampaging enemy, a monastery, and we have a dungeon here. I have to place it like that. We'll place our new tokens out there. Here is our rampaging enemy. We have, I believe that's like a shaman or something. I'll check it out. And we're going to put our dungeon token down right there. I'm going to play another move 2 to move myself right up here. These are our cursed hags, by the way. I'm going to move here. And as an action, I think we're going to take this guy on. We take him on, there's a chance we get a spell, or we can get a artifact of some kind. I have to defeat it, though. We'll see if we can. Let's take a look at what it is. Oh no, okay, this guy has, I have to do 5 damage, and if I can do range or siege attack of 5, I can take him out before he attacks. Look, he's got brutal, which means if I don't block this, it's double the amount here, so it's going to be doing 10 damage to me. I'm going to get 4 experience points if I'm able to take that guy out in the dungeon. Now, I can't use any of my allies. I should say units. It says right here, while unconquered, you can enter the dungeon as your action for the turn. If you do reveal a brown enemy token, fight it. Night rules apply for this combat. If you defeat the enemy, mark the space with a shield token and roll a mana die to determine your reward. For gold or black, gain a spell. Otherwise, I'm going to get an artifact. This is going to be pretty sweet. Let's see if we can take this guy on. He has an attack of 5, so I have to block 5. We have that right here. We'll use determination with a blue mana crystal. We have to do it because I have to block that 5 or it's going to be bad news. So he has been officially blocked. At this point now, I have to do 5 damage in order to take him out. We have this card here. I could pay a blue and a, another red to do 7 attack. But I don't have any red crystals, sadly. So what we're going to do is I'm going to play this out here and use our red mana die to do 4 And then I have a swiftness card right here. I'm just going to go ahead and play it sideways to do 5 damage. That should be enough to take him out. So we were able to block his attack. We took him out. We're going to get 4 experience points. And there's a chance we might get an artifact. Who knows? We could get a spell too. That fireball looks pretty sweet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're so close to our next level up. We've got some pretty good fame going on. I'll take our mana die, roll it up, and see what we get. We got a black. That means we get to choose a spell of our choice. Oh, that's going to be so good. This has to be the spell. If I can get some red mana, look, fire 5 attack. That's awesome. Or even a siege attack 8. I take a wound. I'm not for 8 damage. I don't mind a wound. We'll place that on top of our deck. We'll repopulate our cards here with a heal 2, a cure spell, or I can all enemies blocked during the block phase get their armor reduced by 1. I know it's kind of far away to see, so that's why I just read it real quick for you. We'll re-roll our mana die. Oh, a yellow, that's terrible. I've got only 1 I can do. But good news is we have Mana Search, which is absolutely going to save us this round. We'll discard our cards and return that crystal to the bank. We'll drop some new cards. We get 5 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One's not going to be a surprise, but the rest will be. We got March. We've got our Crystal Joy, Tranquility, Mana Draw, and of course we got our Fireball. Super, super good. We'll lay them out right here, and we'll move on to the dummy player's turn. Our dummy player is going to discard 3 cards. Love the fact that this was really fast. We have a crystal over here, so we have to accelerate him by 1. One thing I forgot to do when the monastery was revealed, I have to put out another action card. We have Refreshing Walk, move 2, heal 1. If played during combat, move 2 only. We have some, and it boosts itself a little bit. I can buy those for 6 at the monastery, or I can get the Savage Monks for 7, which I think would be awesome. Sadly, I still didn't get any influence. We'll start by placing our token right on there, and we'll see what we can do. Our goal this turn is maybe to take out this Mage Tower. I can't really get to here because these both cost 5 to move through. That's ridiculous. I'm going to start by playing our March card. We're going to roll up our 2 yellow dice in the mana pool and hopefully get a green one to move 4. We'll see how this goes. I got a black and I got a white. All right, that's not too bad. The black's kind of cool. We can cast our spell at super power if I get our hands on a red crystal. I get to move 2. I'm going to move 2 back down into the monastery. There's a good reason why I'm doing this. Our plan is to use Crystal Joy. We're just going to use the top part here, pay a mana of any basic color to gain a crystal of that color into your inventory. At the end of the turn, you may discard this non-wound card to take this card back in your hand. I'm probably not going to take it back in my hand. We're going to play that card. We're going to use a white mana, meaning we're going to gain a white crystal to our inventory here. That's not too bad. I'm really trying to get some red so I can get this Siege Attack 8. If I can get some of these dice re-rolled, that'll be fantastic. So we're going to roll this dice, see what we get back. We got green. Where were you just a little while ago? That's all we're going to do for now. We're going to discard our 2 cards, draw back up to 5. I'm really looking for some influence. Oh, there's some influence. We got 3 influence from improvisation. I can just use the top to gain 3, or if I had a red crystal, I get 5, but I don't have a red crystal. And then we got, look at that, rage. All right, we got a lot of attack now. We don't have any red crystals. We need to try to get some red crystals. Our dummy player is going to discard 3 cards. Not white, not white, not white. Oh, no, it's a white card. I'm going to go 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's absolutely terrible. We're going to get our next unit. I'm going to discard Tranquility to be able to use Improvisation to get my 3 influence. So we have 3, and I'm going to use this guy to get 4. So we now have a total of 7. Our monks are 7. Now I only needed 6 because of our reputation, but that's okay. We've played that card. I think that's all we're going to do for this turn. I have a lot of rage and everything here. We really need to get some good things in the mana pool. Now what I could do is I could use my Mana Search when I play this card to, who knows, maybe roll up some red. Let's do that. Let's use our Mana Search. We got green and yellow. That was terrible. Barf. I shouldn't have done that. We're going to discard that. That's going to be the end of our turn. I'm going to gain back 2 more cards. I've got, oh, there's our Influence card. And then we have a move 2. That'll be awesome. Hopefully I can get a move 4 out of it. We'll see how this goes. Our dummy player, who has not been very nice, has pushed us a few times. And another green one, so we're going to push again. Wow, he's down to only 3 cards. Oh, I'm running out of time. We're going to start our turn by using Stamina, and we're going to re-roll 2 of those dice. We're going to leave the black one in there, re-roll these other 2 and see what we get. We got a green and a white. Oh, neither ones are going to help us. I need to get more move. That's too bad. All right, we're going to get our 2 move, though. We'll put this up here to move 2. I'm going to use our token now to be able to also gain another 2 movement as well. That allows me to ignore, or just basically fly to where I want to. I'm going to fly to right there. I'm then going to play these 2 cards. I think we're going to play, I think we're going to play these two. We're going to play these two just like this. We're going to lay them sideways to get another 2 movement. That way I can reveal yet again another tile. Let's see what we have found. We found a keep. Let's see, we also found a monster den and another one of these. I'm not going to get this wrong this time. Let's place this right like that. We'll put our keep and everything out there. We'll discard our cards. That's really all we can do this turn, sadly. I'd like to take on that tower, but I need some more. I need red mana is what I need. We get to draw 3 more cards. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, we got Will Focus. I can gain a blue, white, or red mana token. That's fantastic. That's what we need. But of course, our dummy hand is coming to an end. It's got 3, and that is it. We get 1 more turn. He's going to because he's going to claim end a turn. Ah! We're going to start by moving into the Mage Tower using our move 2 with this card laid sideways for a 3 move. Let's see what we get. We're going to roll our die. We got a blue. That's absolutely hilarious. We would have gotten that, or we should have gotten something like that for a move last time, but I don't need the move this time. Well, actually, I could just use it. No, I better save it because I need to use one of those mana dice for something else. We'll use our 3 movement to assault this Mage's Tower, meaning I'm going to lose 1 reputation. I'm still at +1, which is pretty good. I'm going to move right in here and take this thing out. Let's see, we're going to assault it. Hopefully, now this thing is going to be fortified because it's in the Mage's Tower. It has a 4, and it's against physical and ice resistance, and it's going to attack me for 2 ice attack. It gives me 5 experience points. That's awesome, but it is going to paralyze us, which can be absolutely tragic. Well, let's take him out before we can even do anything. We've been saving our fireball for this reason. We're going to use our will focus to give ourselves a fire crystal, gain a red mana token, or gain a green crystal for inventory. I'm going to gain a red mana token. We'll place that. We'll be able to use it this turn. I'm going to place it right here to use that part. I'm going to then use our black die that we have to go ahead to give us this siege fire attack 8. Which is going to absolutely wreck this guy. But I do have to take a wound into my hand. That's totally fine. He's dead. We get 5 fame. We'll re-roll our die, though it's not really going to matter. We're going to be moving into the day phase here. We get 5 fame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we will be leveling up, which is awesome. We'll gain our rewards from our Mage Tower. Since it was unoccupied, can be assaulted. Reputation goes down by 1, which is why we're still at this +1. The enemy is fortified, successfully assaulted. Mark it with a shield token and gain a spell as your reward. So I get any spell as my reward. I don't know, this mana bolt looks pretty good. Have you seen this mana bolt? It allows me to pay a mana. I pay blue, and then I can pay any other color to give myself pretty much any type of attack. Look, it's Cold Fire 7. That's fantastic. Or I can power it up with a black mana crystal doing Siege Ice 8. Wow. Oh my goodness, this is so good. We're going to take a mana bolt for sure. That's going to be our reward for defeating or for taking over this Mage Tower, conquering the Mage Tower. Now we get to level up. We do have to do our skill first. I did that wrong the first time. You have to do your skills first because if you decide to actually take the one from the common pool, you take the bottom advanced card. So here's his new one for the pool, but let's see what the 2 we get to choose from. We can choose this one or that one. Both of them are not really that great. We have potion making. Once around, except during combat, flip this to get heal 2. We also have a glittering fortune as well. Once a turn during an interaction, gain influence 1 for each different crystal color in your inventory. The influence cannot be used outside of the interaction. So sadly, I don't really have white. I'd get 1. Or else I can heal 2. That's a tough, I mean, this is kind of a tough choice. Or look at this, I can just get range attack 2 during the day or range attack 1 during the night. Maybe that's not a bad thing to get, especially with some of these mana bolts and stuff that are giving me range attack now. Maybe I can, well, let's see here. This is the mana bolt card. I'm allowed to look at it because I just bought it. It says, let's see here, I can get a, yeah, range attack 6. I could get an extra couple. It's not bad. I don't know. We'll see. It's really tough to decide here. I have a feeling we're about to get pounded really bad coming up here pretty soon, so I'm going to take our heal 2. Maybe that might help us out. We already have 1 wound. We might probably be getting some more. Now I get to gain an action card, everyone. Also, we have to add another one to the common pool. I forgot to do that. This is his card right here. It is going to be his for Bonds of Loyalty. When you gain this skill, add 2 regular units to the unit's offer. Put this skill in your unit's area as a command token. It costs 5 less influence, minimum 0, to recruit a unit under this command token. This unit can be used even when the use of the unit would normally not be allowed. You cannot disband this unit. That might be something nice to take because I'm really going for units, so even though I should probably be going for spells and everything. Okay, we have some options here. 1, we have another attack card here. That gives attack 2 and reputation +1 for each enemy I defeat. Or I could get some more block here. It gives me the ability to block 3, counts twice against attacks with swiftness, which swiftness is absolutely terrible to try to block. Or, of course, it powers up to 5 and gives them -1 armor. The other one I can get is this Chilling Stare. Influence 3 or a chosen enemy attack loses all attack abilities. That sounds really good. Or if I pay a white or blue, I get Influence 5 or a chosen enemy does not attack this turn. I think this is the one to go for. Chilling Stare. That's the power-up card we're going to gain. So we'll put another one out here. We got Crystal Mastery. Gain a crystal to your inventory of the same color as a crystal you already own. Oh, that sounds really good. Or I can pay a blue, and if I do, at the end of the turn, any crystals you have spent this turn are returned to your inventory. That's awesome. Really, really good. I also have to put another spell down here, because I got one from the Mage's Tower. Demolish or Disintegrate. Oh my gosh, this is probably pretty awesome. Play this only in the attack phase of combat. Destroy a target enemy. Other enemies get -1 armor. Oh, I want this card. Ignore Sight Fortification this turn. Enemies get -1 armor. Oh my gosh, it's so good. All right, that is the end of our turn, and that means it's also the end of the night phase. We are not done yet. I forgot that at the end, when they can't discard any more cards, that's when they choose end of round. So I still get to go one more time, then it is the end of round no matter what. So because of that, we're going to draw our hand and see what we get. We get, of course, 3 more cards. 2 of them we already know. One's Mana Bolt and the other one is Chilling Stare. And we have a Rage card in our hand as well. Then we're going to now, actually I can probably do something with this. First, we're going to heal 2. Why not just get rid of this wound, remove it from our whole deck here. Our deed deck does not need wounds. Wounds are bad news. This one, I could play with a blue or white mana. And we have blue in the supply, so we could use that. But we also have mana draw as well, which we could use as well. You may use an additional mana die from the source this turn. I don't know if that's going to help us out. Or we could take a mana die from the source and set it to any color except gold. We gain 2 mana tokens of that color during... Do not re-roll the die when you return it to the source. Now we could do that as well, but I don't need tokens because they're going to go away at the end of my turn. And I'm not going to be playing this card or this card. We are going to play this from the mana or from the source over there. We're going to gain Influence 5 or choose an enemy does not attack this turn. Now, why am I playing Influence right now? That's a great question. It's because of the Mage Tower. While conquered, any player can recruit units and buy spells here. Spells can be bought for an Influence of 7 plus a mana of the same color as the spell being bought. So if I use, actually what I should do is use the white here. That way I can set this. Take any die from the source and set it to any color you want. So I need to use a white crystal to do that, which means I would be using all my crystals. Is this really worth it? I don't know if it's worth 2 white crystals to be able to buy a spell. I think we are going to keep our crystals and we're going to use our cards to move. Since right now we're in the night phase, we're just going to play a few cards to be able to just move our character. We can use any of these sideways for a move. I'm going to just play all 3 of these to move right to here. That'll be totally fine. Then next turn, when it goes into the day phase, we can hopefully explore these other tiles and get to our first core tile to start getting closer to those cities. Before we do move into the next day phase, we're going to stop the video right here. We made it through the first day and night cycle. This has been fantastic. I think things are going okay. I'm excited to see what happens to us in number 2 and 3. I'd like to thank Colin for allowing me to use his 3D models, and I'm going to put a link to it in the description below where you can pick these up. I hope you are enjoying the playthrough. If you are, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when the next part of this playthrough comes out. We will be doing the 2nd and 3rd rounds in the next video. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments below. I would love to hear from everyone. Again, thank you so much for watching. And if you're excited to see what happens next in Mage Night, then I need you to meet me at the table.